Hey everybody, today's activity is going to be examining a passage from Mayella Yule's testimony. Now, this passage is important because it gives us insight into Mayella Yule and some of her motives in the story, but it's specifically important to you because this passage is going to be on your final exam. So let's take a few minutes right now, read through the passage, make sure as you complete this activity that you watch any videos and make sure you're reading any of the passages it presents to you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Mayella looked from under lowered eyelids at Atticus, but she said to the judge, "Long as he keeps calling me ma'am and saying Miss Mayella, I don't have to take his sass. I ain't called upon to take it." Atticus resumed his stroll to the windows and let Judge Taylor handle this one. Judge Taylor was not the kind of figure that ever evoked pity, but I did feel a pang for him as he tried to explain. "That's just Mr. Finch's way," he told Mayella. "We've done business in this court for years and years, and Mr. Finch is always courteous to everybody. He's not trying to mock you. He's trying to be polite. That's just his way." The judge leaned back. "Atticus, let's get on with the proceedings and let the record show that the witness has not been sassed, her views to the contrary." I wondered if anybody had ever called her ma'am or Miss Mayella in her life. Probably not, as she took offense to routine courtesy. What on earth was her life like? I soon found out. "You say you're 19, Atticus resumed. "How many sisters and brothers have you?" He walked from the window back to the stand. "7," she said, and I wondered if they were all like the specimen I had seen the first day I started to school. Atticus was quietly building up before the jury a picture of the Yule home life. The jury learned the following things. Their relief check was far from enough to feed the family, and there was a strong suspicion that Papa drank it up anyway. He sometimes went off in the swamp for days and came home sick. The weather was seldom cold enough to require shoes, but when it was, you could make dandy ones from strips of old tires. The family hauled its water in buckets from a spring that ran out one end of the dump. They kept the surrounding areas clear of trash. And it was everybody for himself as far as keeping clean went. If you wanted to wash, you hauled your own water. The younger children had perpetual colds and suffered from chronic ground itch. There was a lady who came around sometimes and asked Mayella why she didn't stay in school. She wrote down the answer. With 2 members in the family, reading and writing, there was no need for the rest of them to learn. Papa needed them at home. "Miss Mayella," said Atticus in spite of himself, "a 19-year-old girl like you must have friends. Who are your friends?" The witness frowned as if puzzled. "Friends?" "Yes. Don't you know anyone near your age or older or younger? Boys and girls, just ordinary friends." Mayella's hostility, which had subsided to grudging neutrality, flared again. "You making fun of me again, Mr. Finch?" Atticus let her question answer his. "Do you love your father, Miss Mayella?" was his next. "Love him? Whatcha mean?" "I mean, is he good to you? Is he easy to get along with?" "He does tolerable, except when—" Mayella looked at her father, who was sitting with his chair tipped against the railing. He sat up straight and waited for her to answer. "'Cept when nothin'," said Mayella. "I said he does tolerable." Mr. Yule leaned back again. "'Cept when he's drinking?" Atticus said so gently that Mayella nodded. All right, so that's our passage. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at some questions, so make sure you're answering all the questions, and if you have any questions about the passage, make sure you're reaching out to your teacher.